Hi, I'm Gordon Marsden. I'm the Member of Parliament for Blackpool South. I was elected in 1997, the first ever Labour MP in Blackpool South, having stood in the seat in the early 1990s. Before that, I spent 12 years running a magazine as a small business. So Blackpool, of course, is very much a small business focused place, so it is an area that I know quite a bit about, and indeed in the job I now have in Parliament as a Shadow Minister for Business, that previous experience has come in very useful. It's been a really exciting, stimulating, sometimes very, very challenging period of time to be an MP in Blackpool. Blackpool is a great place, but it's had great challenges, economic challenges, social challenges, infrastructure challenges, and I've been involved in many of those key decisions and many of the key lobbying of government for money and resources for the town. We are a town that is constantly changing. We have influxes of people who come here and really enrich the community. But we also have, as I say, big challenges. We have a larger than average number of older people. We have a larger than average number of people with disabilities. We have parts of the town which really need major structural changes. I think if you go around Blackpool today, you can see some of the really positive things, the new tramway, the new Tower Headland, the new areas around St John's Square, and you look at the developments with Hounds Hill and that has come together as a result of both public and private investment and a hell of a lot of lobbying by local leaders, by local businesses, working with local members of Parliament, local councillors. That's really important, and that's the way I try to operate on a non-partisan basis as far as possible. I also have a role, as I say, on the front bench in Parliament for the opposition as a shadow business minister. My portfolio there covers skills, further education, very critical issue at the moment with loads and loads of young people trying to get the right sorts of skills and training, apprenticeships, and also looking at the whole issue of how we get growth going in regions, and particularly in areas like Blackpool, where historically we've not always had the growth, we've not always had the business experience that we should have. So I try to take the casework, which I get week by week, and my office in Highfield Road works very hard on. I try to take those individual examples and take them across into what I say in Parliament, to what I say to try and develop policy for the opposition in Parliament. But the crux of any MP's life is actually fighting for his or her local community and taking up the individual casework, the problems, the issues that affect individual people. And I've particularly focused in that area on issues to do with education, skills, as I say, and social care issues, issues around disability and things of that sort. Well, I think the last 5 to 10 years in Blackpool has been all about trying to get regeneration for the town. I was right at the centre, as were other people, with the whole debate and controversy about the casino. The positive thing that came out of that whole process was that Blackpool was on the map for the rest of the nation. And with my former colleague Joan Humble, I was able to lobby the previous government. We lobbied them pretty hard with the support of everybody across Blackpool for more investment in the town, and some of that is now coming to fruition with the new tramway, with the ownership by the council of the Winter Gardens and the Tower, which was a very complicated financial deal involving a number of different agencies and loans which I was closely involved with. But over and above that, I suppose it's a lot of the individual issues and subjects that I've taken up, particularly in terms of issues to do with older people and disabilities, issues to do with victims' care, the case of Jane Clough, which has just actually, as a result of the campaign that we've all done, changed the law. And of course in Blackpool we have a very large number of people who served in the armed forces or still serving in the armed forces, and from that point of view, having been chair of the all-party parliamentary veterans group, there's been a lot of things we've lobbied on there which have improved the situation for those sorts of people in Blackpool and outside. And I'm very proud of the fact that Blackpool every year, when Armed Forces Week comes along, does an amazing job there. And we've had some fantastic people in the local community, including the late Jim Holdsworth, who've really helped to put Blackpool on the map. And I've tried to work very hard with Jim, but with a whole load of other people on those sorts of issues. I think the situation for young people in Blackpool is one of the central concerns that we've all got to have, regardless of party politics, regardless of whether we're an MP or someone active in the local community. The thing I'm struck by, and have been struck by in the 15 years I've been an MP here, going around the schools, going around the colleges, is just the sheer energy, the vitality and the entrepreneurship of young people in Blackpool. Young people often get a bad press, and I constantly say to people, look, the people who get the bad press are the minority. We've got a fantastic Blackpool Young People's Council here. I run a Young Local Heroes award every year. We get some fantastic nominations in for that. But what I've noticed in the past when I've gone around is you meet a lot of people who were born and brought up in Blackpool, but didn't necessarily feel that they either wanted to or could come back later in life to work here. And we've really got to give young people, particularly in the present economic circumstances, the get up and go, the job opportunities, the apprenticeship opportunities to do that. And that is something where I'm trying to combine my work as a constituency MP, taking up individual cases, talking to schools, talking to the council, with actually the major developments that we need to do to expand apprenticeships to make sure they're really good quality. And that, again, has a big role for small businesses as well as the key businesses outside of Blackpool that provide jobs, like the aerospace industry, the nuclear industry, and of course the big leisure and entertainment complexes. I think what you want to know is if you've got something you want to raise, how do you get in touch with me? I hope I'm reasonably approachable. I hope we're reasonable. My offices, I've got two offices, obviously, one in Westminster, which deals with my relations with government and policy stuff, and my office in Blackpool, which deals with a lot of the day-to-day issues and questions and problems that people might have. We're accessible on website, we're accessible on email. We try and get about the constituency quite a lot, not just people's advice surgeries, but actually my office on Highfield Road. You can come along there. We have office hours every day and drop in. And as I say, these days there's loads of other ways of contacting me. We've got the email, we've got the website, we've got those sorts of contacts. But we also go out into the community, and we have community meetings about particular subjects. We had a very successful one the other week talking about community policy in Blackpool. We've had other ones on health and education and that. So I'm trying to be as accessible to people as we can be, remembering, of course, that every MP represents about 65,000 people. But yes, that's what we're here for, because we're here to try and support and develop people and the town of Blackpool, which is one of the things, of course, that I welcome in new initiatives like on Blackpool TV, because that brings on board all the sorts of people who work in the local community and takes us forward to making Blackpool a 21st century town, but with the strong values that made it a great town in the past. We need to take that forward into the future, and I'm very pleased to be taking part in that.